Hey everyone, this is James and Donetta, Road Life Adventure, and we are at Lake Meredith National Recreational Park. Did I get it right?
National Recreation Area.
Area. You know what?
All of the national park system places have all these different names. And
We practiced it before we started doing this, and I still screwed it up. I mean, that's just like me. I could study for a test and forget it in like 10 seconds. So it is. But we camped out here last night. This is the first leg of our new adventure for the summer. We took off yesterday from Oklahoma City, and we are going to do a 2 to 3 month loop out
big summer
west.
adventure.
Big summer adventure. I don't know, epic. It's going to be
Yeah.
epic. And the goal this time is, typically we've lived from hotels and resorts and stayed in a lot of places, but we are going to try to camp out in a rooftop tent as much as possible, do some free camping, cheap camping, and roughing it and all that kind of stuff.
Boondocking.
Boondocking, yeah, we may, it may be the most amazing adventure, or we may kill each other by the end of it. I don't know how it's going to go. So far,
Or we may be so sore that we can't walk anymore because we're old
exactly.
and sleeping in that tent.
I feel it at our age. I'm like, why am I climbing underneath the tonneau cover on my truck and up and down this tent? I'm like, and I understand when I see people at the campgrounds and they got these nice rigs, why they're doing it. But, we're the old people representing, doing it the hard way. So
Doing it the poor man's way.
Poor man's, yeah. Poor man. We're brave, courageous, all that stuff. But this is our first leg, and we had a great night last night. We camped for free, which is fantastic, and we used our solar powers with our Blue Eddy, and we'll do a little review on that by itself because that thing is really cool. We were able to charge up and keep our stuff going. But we'll show you a little bit around this lake and where we stayed, but it was fantastic. It was super quiet. Not many people at this time of year, which is great. It was hot as hell yesterday at 94 with a blowing wind, so it was like Satan blowing on us the entire time.
But then we woke up during the night freezing because it got pretty chilly
overnight. She's like, are you sure you don't want to take I don't need to take your blanket up. And they're like, I don't need the blanket. It's going to be too hot. And I'm thankful I did because I was wrapped up. Yeah, like a little baby in a cocoon this morning. Like, oh my God, what did I do? So
it wasn't too bad though.
We survived.
It just took us by surprise.
It was 53, it goes from 94 to 53, so your body has to adjust.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was fantastic, super quiet, beautiful lake out here. I would come out here again. I love this. There's all kinds of good free camping spots around here. It's first come, first serve, so if you don't get here, you're probably screwed if it's busy, but you can pay for some RV hookups.
Not at this one. There's a separate one.
Yeah, there's different campgrounds, but there are different places where you can hook up and get the power that you need and stuff like that. But I don't know how much it's cost because they never returned our call. So we just, it's okay. We did it for free. So, anyways, we'll show you around the area.
So we stayed right down there, right behind that tree, basically. There's a little campsite, but as you can see, there's just multiple campsites. I think the only downside to this area is that they have these roped off, or these, what do you call it, little barrier rope chain things. So you can't pull right up to the campground and park. They have the little, I don't know if you can see it there, there's little turnoffs, but then you have to step over. Well, that one actually has, maybe we should have done that one. Ours didn't have a little walkthrough, so we had to continually step over the little rope.
We would have had to park in a ditch or something or on the road, which is a no-go.
But the lake itself is beautiful. We were facing the sunset last night, which was just, that's directly west, so we watched it go down right there. And then this morning, the sunrise was incredible. There's 10 campsites. I think it said 10 at this one. And there were only 3 of us here last night. And then there's restrooms.
This is the crapper.
Which
this
is
where
nice.
The magic happens. So free showers, free toilets. That was good.
Yeah.
Pretty clean. Not,
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Not like going to the immaculate, but
there's a water spigot right there. So if you need water, you can get water. But it was a really great area. We started at the other campground, and I'll have to look up the name because it was, I don't remember what it is, but we started over there and kind of spent the evening there. That's where we charged our solar panels and we made dinner, and just hung out. But it was really windy and it was a little busier, and that's where the RV hookups are.
So one of the reasons why we left the other campground last night, which was a fantastic spot, by the way, some really cool people hanging out, but there was this dude hanging out by the bathroom, and I noticed he was there when we got there, and I was like, okay, probably just hanging out, camping out, maybe sick, have to go to the bathroom, whatever. Didn't ask. But we'd been hanging around for a couple hours. I walked back up there, and the guys just started talking to me, and just some weird questions started coming out, like, "What are you driving? Where are you camping at?" Kind of things that just put me on edge. I'm like, okay, is this dude gonna try to like kill me or her in the middle of the night? Does he just want to hang out and give me free beers? I don't know. So there are red flags. When someone asks you, start asking you personal questions. That's something that for whether it's prepping or self-defense or situational awareness, is something's not right. And the guy was telling me a story. I don't know if they were homeless or he said they lost their home in a fire, but I've heard all kinds of stories from people on the street. So I'm like, yeah, we might not want to stay here if he's going to stay overnight, because us walking up to the bathroom, I would have to carry my gun or a big baton or baseball bat or something. So
it ended up being fine. Like he left. We saw him drive away.
It's just one of those things, like, specifically for people who travel that want to feel about their safety. I would say, go with your gut instinct. If you see red flags or something like that, go ahead and move on. Just be safe and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we moved. But this ended up being a better place because there's less people and we had a better view. So
we decided to just drive through this campground before we picked a spot to actually stay for the night. And we liked this one better. And it was a really nice view of the sunset. And so it worked out really well.
Yeah,
and we really enjoyed it here.
No regrets. But now we must hurry up and get on the road, because we thought we had more time today to hang out. And
I was thinking our next stop was like 2 hours away, and it's like 4.5. Whoops.
Yeah. So we got a long drive, and we got to do work, and we got to see some other stuff.
Couple things to see.
Yeah. So we may have to adjust our plans, but that's that's truck life. That's life on the road and road life adventures. Sometimes you have to adapt and improvise as you go. Yeah. So just remember that.
We'll show you the other things that we're gonna see as well.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
We've made it to the Alabates Flint Quarries National Monument.
That's a mouthful.
It is, and I had to look it up a couple times to get it right. But this place is really cool, so I thought I'd do a little walkthrough and show you what we're seeing.
It's a beautiful place.
That's the visitor center right there, where they have a little museum showing about how they have dug in the quarries for the flint and how it used to be traded back in the 1100s to the 1400s, and then the people just disappeared. But out here there's a cool garden area that you can walk through, cute little teepee, but there's beautiful views and scenery. But my favorite thing is all these wildflowers.
See,
I guess he can be a favorite too.
She said, I am the most beautiful thing to look at, and the people are still here. I am here, so I don't know why. She just insulted me. So.
But look at these wildflowers. They're absolutely gorgeous. The Indian blanket flowers, which is the dark red and yellow, are some of my very favorites. And they're just everywhere out here. It's so gorgeous. Let's walk up here and see what's over the hill. I'm thinking this goes down so you can get a view of the lake. Oh no, it's a road down there. But what a pretty view of the valley down here. Lake Meredith National Recreation Area, which this is still part of, is such a beautiful area. This is definitely a spot worth visiting up in the panhandle of Texas, near the town of Fritch. that's where we are.
So while Dawnetta is off looking at wildflowers and walking the trail as we make this stop, I have decided to come over here and make myself a sandwich and have some chips because you know what? When I get hangry, it's not good. So this is the joy of living out of our truck. We have all of our good stuff behind us. Got a cooler, food, all that kind of stuff. Got everything we need to survive. But one of these days, we'll go through a run through of all the cool stuff we have in our truck. So if you're ever thinking about going out on your own road life adventure, some suggestions and ideas of what we recommend you take and bring, and just so you can be ready for whatever comes your way. So it's time to eat. We'll see you on the flip side.